and Mercury Cougar. These veteran drivers set the pace, and Mercury Cougar was the car to beat. But the winningest name of late is Audi. Drivers Hans Stuck and Hurley Haywood have taken the all-wheel drive Audis to victory circle in the last 4 races. Now at Del Mar, California, it's the 15th and final race of the season. Teammates Dallenbeck and Halsmer are battling for the Drivers' Championship. It's the final round, and the head-to-head battle is about to take place as ESPN presents the Chevron GTO GTU Challenge. One of the most beautiful fairgrounds in all of North America is located approximately 25 miles north of San Diego, California. It's called Del Mar, and normally it's the home of the horses. But this weekend, it's a completely different kind of horsepower. It's the IMSA, Chevron, GTO, and GTU Championship, the final event of the year for these drivers. Hello, everyone. I'm Bruce Flanders, and it's been a changeable weather day. We don't know what to expect yet when this race gets underway. With me to help call the action is Tom Gloy. And, Tom, there are some great cars.
We have a really tight points battle between Wally Dallenbach and Pete Halsmer in Cougars. We've got the ultra-fast Audis, and we've got 2 very strong Nissans. But we also have an incredibly beautiful F40 Ferrari.
Oh, the F40 Ferrari, a low-dollar deal. We'll show it to you in just a moment. But right now, let's join another one of our colleagues down on pit row, Mr. Chris Economaki, who's with Wally Dallenbach.
Well, Wally Dallenbach has got 2 things on his mind today, beating Hans Stuck, who's on the pole, and beating his teammate Pete Halsmer for the championship. Wally, what's on your mind mostly, Stuck or Halsmer?
Stuck's on my mind right now. I'm just going out to win this race and get that behind me, and if we're in the lead after the race in the championship, that's fine. But my job today is to win this race.
If this were a European race, Wally, the team manager would have told one of you to win and the other one to run behind. But that's not the way it is. When it comes down to you and Pete, what kind of a race will we see?
I think it'll be a clean race. I think Pete and I respect each other enough that whoever wins this championship, we're going to beat each other clean. And whoever has the best day is going to do that.
Okay, good luck, Wally Dallenbach. And let's now go down pit road to my colleague, Ralph Shaheen.
Well, we're 1 car behind our buddy Chris Economaki, and we're sitting with a gentleman that is sitting on possibly his first professional drivers' championship. Pete, some people would think that if you got the championship 7 points ahead right now, you might just sit back and take it easy. You going to go for the win?
Well, we have to pay attention to both things. We want to win the championship, and we'd also like to win the race. So, you know, we've been able to do well all season long, and I think we'll just have to keep trying to do the same sort of job that we've been doing and go after them that one.
Let's go back upstairs to Bruce Flanders.
Well, they're getting real close to ready here at the fairgrounds in Del Mar, and in just a few moments, those magic words will come, and we'll be hearing all kinds of different engines coming to life. The Chevron GTO GTU Challenge from Del Mar is brought to you today by Quaker State Motor Oil. The Big Q stands for quality, always has, always will. By Volkswagen, cars at an honest value for over 40 years. By Goodyear Eagle Tires, Goodyear, because there really is a difference. And by Die Hard Battery, now with more power when you need it most. Welcome back to Del Mar, California. They're ready about for those magic words. Let's once again join Chris Economaki down on the grid.
All right, we're here with Mrs. Frances Whiteman of 29 Palms, California, a Chevron dealer who's got those words we're all waiting for.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
And they come to life down below. 5-cylinder Audis, the turbocharged Nissans, all the good ones. Tom Gloy, is this a very, very nervous time for these ones that are chasing that championship?
Well, it is. The whole season comes down to this one final race. It's a unique situation to have it come to the last race. I'm sure Pete would have liked to have sewn it up last week and gotten this out of the way, but he's got to come from his 4th starting position and keep track of Wally Dallenbach and try to come out of this race with more points.
For those of you possibly watching your first IMSA race, there will be 2 different classes on the racetrack at the same time, but the infighting that goes on between them is always a wonderful sight to see.
It really is. I spoke to a couple of the GTU guys, and the really fast GTU guys are not too concerned about the really fast GTO guys. They said they've been racing with them all year, and they know to watch their mirrors.
There is that race within a race, and we'll explain more as the day progresses, but you will see a speed differential between the category GTO and GTU. Right now, let's look at the way they all qualified. And the quickest of them was number 4, Hans Stuck, the turbocharged Audi. In fact, it is a completely turbocharged front row. Wally Dallenbeck with the Cougar that drives only through the rear wheels, while the Audi drives all 4. It'll be an interesting first corner. Next row, also turbochargers a bunch, number 75, Steve Millen, qualifying the Nissan quite well, the former off-road driving champion. And next to him, Pete Halsmer, the gentleman who has a shot at the overall Drivers' Championship, also driving a Cougar. Row number 3 finds Hurley Haywood, a longtime IMSA veteran, the companion Audi, and this guy has won the 24 Hours of Daytona and Le Mans. Next to him, another long-standing veteran, number 76, John Morton. He's driven some of the fastest cars in the world, qualified the Nissan on row 3. Let's take a look at the rest of the 30-car field, including there the 07 car, Jeremy Dale. He is the fastest qualifier in GTU. There's Bob Leitzinger. He's going to win. In fact, he's already sewed up the driving championship in the GTU category, and our congratulations go to him. It is an interesting sight to see all 30 of them warming the tires on this tight racetrack. The GTU category cars with those smaller engines will be very competitive here. It's not the high banks of Daytona, and we're not talking about speeds up in the triple-digit region for very long. For a closer look at the racetrack, let's have Tom Gloy take us for a lap.
We're at the 10-turn, 1.6-mile Del Mar racetrack in San Diego, California. We're on the front straightaway, the fastest part of the circuit. We're headed down into turn 1, heavy braking, lots of passing will happen here. This will be an active section for the race. Short chute here over to turn 2, and then another short chute over to turn 3. No passing through this area. This is one of the slowest turns on the circuit. Definitely be second gear. And we'll accelerate up, go through second, third, and fourth gear as we go through the back straightaway in turn 4, which really is only a bend in the road, but a very dangerous bend. Guys have been known to try to take this flat out. We're on to another short chute here as we head to turns 5 and 6. Very narrow through here. Definitely a no passing area as we're now in turn 6 and going to accelerate onto the back straightaway. This is a very fast section. We go from second gear all the way to the top end of 5th gear, and this is probably just as fast as the front straightaway, but it has a very quick bend in it, taking us over to the turn 7 area. Heavy braking and a chance to pass here again. Turn 7 is a 180-degree turn. You've got to get out of it properly to set up for the short turn 8 and a short chute over to turn 9. Turn 9 is just less than a 90-degree bend. Another important turn leading us into the turn 10 complex. This is a right, a left, and a right. You've got to get off of this turn quickly and properly so that you carry all the speed you can down the main straightaway, because we're back to the main passing area and ending our lap of Del Mar.
As they make the turn, the pace car has pulled off. There is a potential green right here. The starter now is slowing them down.
There we go.
And throws the green flag. Hang on, turn 1.
This is the big
ready
one.
for this. The Audi leads them.
Hans Stuck got a jump going into turn 1.
And right behind him, it is number 9. Yeah, Dallenbeck with the Cougar, then Millen the Nissan, and it is the other Audi with Haywood in the 4th place spot through that
Pete Halsmer in 5th, so he's actually lost the spot at the start.
And right behind Halsmer was that bright red Ferrari we'll talk more about. A little bit of squeeze play there as some of the O's and U's almost swap paint jobs through turns 2 and 3. Up to tempo. We're with the leaders right now. A 3-car lead, an Audi, a Cougar, and a Nissan through a tight little kink there, Tom.
Really tight section and very orderly for the first lap. Everybody staying in order, not creating any problems.
There they go, down that short chute underneath one of the Goodyear bridges there. And it is still the hard-running Audi of Hans Stuck out on top of it.
There's a good shot. You see the speed of the cars. They go past our camera there on the back chute.
Boy, it definitely. Let's pick back up with the leaders. Here it is, the Audi, and Dallenbeck knows that he's going to have to try and work on him early on in this race. Through that tight right-hander, underneath the Nissan bridge they go. That corner right there must be taken with kind of rhythm, right?
It really is. It's a rhythm car. Here's Wally pulling out already. He's actually in front of Hans.
Got the power down, and Wally Dallenbeck in the best position as the brakes come on for turn 1 once again. And the Basalt, Colorado native, who's even had some IndyCar experience, drives around on Stuck.
That's an interesting deal to have happen so early. I talked to Hans earlier. There's been a little bit of bad blood between Wally and Hans during the year, and nobody's exactly sure why. But Wally's got to win this race to have a chance to win the title. Hans wants to win the race just for pride, and he also needs to win it if he's going to have a chance. which is a very remote chance at ever winning the title.
Looking at the front end of Dallenbach's car, did they drop it down even closer? That car was set up so that it cheated the wind as much as possible, but sparks were coming under braking.
Well, they use different types of skid plates, and that's what's happening. Under braking, you're seeing the front of the car actually touch the ground.
All right, a shot at Dallenbach as he goes to work. The number 9 Stroh's light car that Dallenbach has had some pretty successful performances with this year. Behind him now is Stuck, then Millen in the Nissan, and the other Audi of Haywood.
It's an interesting situation. It's really early to predict this, but if it was to finish just the way they are right now, it would be Dallenbach's championship.
Pick them up as they come back into our sight line on this high-speed section of the course, the fastest portion. And Dallenbach seems to be stretching it out, and now the Nissan appears to be going to work, tries to get in underneath him. Millen did not quite make the pass for second place, but Stuck knows he's there now.
And we see a little gap opening here. We have the first 5 cars moving away.
The 07 car, Jeremy Dale, is in front of the U's. We'll go back to that part of the story in a minute, but we're watching second, third, and fourth, who are obviously not done settled in their positions.
Well, I'm amazed to see Dallenbach actually moving off this far, this early. We're on the second lap. They're going into the tight turn 5, 6 area. Dallenbach, he's not really sliding the car a lot from what I can see, but he's just motoring.
For these guys, it is a 1-hour-long sprint race. They're used to going up to 24 hours. You just, no driver change, no fiddling around, right?
No, it's really a short race for them.
There's Hurley Haywood. In fact, we are on board with Hurley Haywood right now, and that is Millen that we're trying to tap just a little bit in the corner. Hurley Haywood, a confident driver who's got 24 hours in Le Mans and Daytona, and won them both.
Well, you can see the sparks coming out from underneath the Nissan right in front of him, which is Steve Millen. It's interesting that that car's set up so low, it's dragging the front end of the brakes also.
Now, is it because of the weight load of the fuel, so they probably quit sparking later as the car lightens up?
No, they've got it set right on the ground. They're trying to get as much front stick as possible.
Here's his maximum use of breakage right there at turn 1. A right-hander now, and you come within 6 inches of the wall. In fact, just a few minutes ago, while we're standing down there with the corner workers, and those cars come in close at 1.
They come in really close. This is the all-wheel drive Audi, and this is a real experience for a driver. When we talked to Hurley earlier, it's a situation where don't ever lift. When as you need more grip, you stand on the gas pedal harder.
And it looks like he's getting further away, but I don't think he's getting too far away. There is the number 5 of the car we were just riding on board. And in fact, Halsmer is now beginning to come up to his exhaust pipe a little.
Yeah, now we have a pretty evenly paced group here.
The excitement here in Del Mar will be continuing right after this. Come back and join us.
If you love cars, you'll love Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring. Every week, Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars. GTs, sports sedans, collector cars, 4x4s, front drivers. Auto Week makes you an insider with industry news, personality profiles, old cars, columnists, the best classified anywhere. And nobody covers racing like Auto Week. You get the fastest coverage of Formula One, sports cars, stockers, Indy cars. It's all in Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring every week. Now get a year's subscription to Auto Week. Call 1-800-554-3000 and get 52 issues at the basic price of just $23. Save 77% off the newsstand price. 1-800-554-3000. Operators are standing by. Call 1-800-554-3000 and let Auto Week put you in the driver's seat every week.
Bo Jackson leads the Raiders' silver and black attack. The Chargers await the collision. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann bring you Sunday night NFL at 8 Eastern live on ESPN.
Welcome back to the IMSA GTO GTU finale. The last race of the season for these cars in Del Mar, and Tom Bloy, they are in traffic heavily.
They are already in traffic. We're, I think, on the 4th lap, and they're in heavy traffic.
Let's set the top ones for you. Number 9, Dallenbach, you're watching right there, is in front. Number 4, Hans Stuck is right on his tail. Running third is number 75, Steve Millen. In the Nissan, number 5, Hurley Haywood is fourth, and Pete Halsmer in car 6 rounds out the top 5. In the GTU category, 07, Jeremy Dale in front. His teammate, Cal Choquette, in the 00 car is second, and number 17, Al Bacon third. The early stages of the event still shaping to get a personality right now.
Well, funny things happen here in traffic. The traffic's been so heavy early on that we see a bit of a split here between Dallenbach and Hans Stuck.
Number 88, Henderson, that's what we're looking at. He is parked dead engine, driver's left right there on the racetrack. Picking back up with the Ferrari, which again has blown by the pit entrance and is not going into the pits. I don't know, do you think maybe Jabouille feels it's coming around and he's going to stay out there with it?
Well, obviously he's the one in control, and he's the one making the decisions. I really can't, I have no idea what the problem will be.
By the way, that's the only one of those Ferraris in the United States, at least legally. Let's go down pit lane right now. I understand Ralph Shaheen has a story for us. Ralph?
Well, Bruce, what we found out down here is that the only car running Pirellis in this race is not getting enough traction. He seems to be spinning the wheels every time he comes out of the corners. They do have tire warmers down here, and they were having trouble building up pressure or temperature in the tires yesterday, but the tire warmers aren't plugged in. So, unfortunately, it looks like a long day for the Ferrari group.
All right, a report from Ralph Shaheen and the Ferrari as he says that a GTU car goes blowing by him, and I don't think they expected that at all. Right now, let's update you with a Quaker State track fact. Let's go now to Ralph Shaheen for a Quaker State track fact.
The most exciting thing to come around in the GTO series this year is the debut of the brand new Ferrari. The gentleman holding the reins on the prancing horse is Mr. Jean Sage. Mr. Sage, this car is sold as a production-based car to the general public. How close to stock is the version we're seeing on the racetrack today?
Oh, this car is very close to the road car, to the stock car, you know. Bigger radiator on the front, bigger wheels, bigger wing, bigger lip on the front, bigger rear wing, bigger turbos, everything a little bit bigger, but it's very close to the road car.
And what changes have you made inside the engine bay itself?
You know, the engine is like the bodywork, you know, everything is bigger. The turbos are bigger, and the intercoolers are bigger.
If you've been sitting at home doing some armchair racing with this afternoon and thinking about the possibility of getting your own F40 to go racing with, well, the car was sold for $250,000 a piece from the factory. They made 300 of them, they're all gone. They're selling back and forth between collectors now and going for in the neighborhood of $1 million. I'm Ralph Shaheen for Quaker State Motor Oil with another Quaker State track fact. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
I love the neighborhood of $1 million. If you're going to live in any neighborhood, make it that one, right?
And that's the commute to work in.
Dallenbeck in the number 9 car, hammering on the back of traffic, and somehow that looks like $1 million neighborhood. Come on back and join us as the Chevron GTO GTU Challenge from Del Mar continues right after this.
From Rocky Mountain snow to Florida sun, Quaker State engines don't know when to quit.
Mine's pushing 250,000 miles.
Quaker State engines run strong and run long.
95,000 miles and no problem.
Quaker State is quality engineered to exceed every single car maker's U.S. requirements for maximum engine protection.
This car is new. I'd be stupid not to use Quaker State.
Quaker State engines don't know when to quit.
The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
The Nordica 997 Cup.
Ready for the conquest, take me to the world of blue. Running with the leader, ride me to the windy stream. Fly away to the higher zone, spread your wings for the higher zone.
Nordica, reach a new high.
We're back in Del Mar, California, and you are looking at the result. There has been a change at the top of the board. Hans Stuck just went by Dallenbeck. Here's a replay now of the pass itself. Watch closely as that Stuck on the right hand as drivers looked at it, and he just, man, that was a clean move underneath.
Very clean move for sure.
Stuck in front, Dallenbeck in second. Number 75, Millen is still third. Number 5, Hurley Haywood is fourth. Number 6, Pete Halsmer is in fifth. And I know you GTU fans that are listening, Jeremy Dale.
Oh, Dallenbeck wants it back, though. They're coming back down the front straightaway again, and here we go, under brakes.
Oh, this is good. The right-hander, and Dallenbeck did just about the same exact thing to him, right?
You know, an interesting thing, though, you see the taillights are staying on the Audi. They're not on, he puts his foot on the brake pedal, and there seems to be a long period of time before those lights go out.
Hey, those brake lights don't go out.
Well, you're right. Now they're not going out.
I don't want to be an IMSA official.
Now they're out at this moment, but it's an interesting deal. I don't know if it's something set up to try to confuse Wally, so if he's really close behind, he really can't take advantage.
They're clear at the moment now. I mean, there's no traffic in front of them. They can really get some boogie in this, right?
Yeah, and they will be doing that. They want to put as much distance, especially Wally, who's out in the lead. He wants to get away from Halsman. He'd like to get away from Stuck, too.
Number 17, Al Bacon, getting tangled right there. Number 77 also involved in it, Paul Lewis out of Malibu. There was one other car. I didn't catch exactly what number it was.
It was one of the Dodges.
Okay, and it was the 10th place car that was having the problem right there, or in a money-paying, points-paying position. And we have bent some sheet metal or fiberglass on the number 77, Paul Lewis out of Malibu. You're looking at his left front, which has been rearranged some, just as one of the Stroh's Cougars comes up on him.
That's Wally Dallenbach with Hans Stuck absolutely glued to his rear bumper, looking for a way by.
The blue flag shown to him. His job now is to try and get out of their way, and he leaves them as much racing room as he can. But he's trying to limp back to the pits to have the front end checked out. Meanwhile, Stuck says, coming back after that Cougar. Through the sweeper, a left-hander right there that you can get plenty loose in that particular car.
Well, yeah, you really can. All-wheel drive on the Audi certainly an advantage in that slippery section of the racetrack.
Good look at the Cougar right there. A Jack Roush built car that has campaigned. It's, I think, the second year on the circuit for that particular car. And they're coming up on traffic one more time at speed now. And Dallenbach, will he be able to squeeze the slower car in between him? No, Stuck isn't going to let that happen.
Yeah, they're both through there very cleanly.
Short little chute down to turn number 2. And again, I'm just kind of watching, and so let's see if, as we sweep with him right here, see if those brake lights stay on, because the throttle's back on now. Those brake lights are staying on. We're going to be taking a look at how you drive this Audi Quattro system. Let's ask Hans Stuck about it.
Once you decide to put the pedal down, you got to leave your foot on. If you lift off in the corner, your history, you go away. So it's very important, because then the car more or less pulls itself around the corner. When you have the four wheels making the car, the front wheels are steered, you know, so it pulls the car around the corner, but never go off the pedal.
Could he be 2-footing it? Could he be putting 1 foot on a throttle and 1 foot on a brake and using it that way?
Well, he could be for sure, but remember, he's got to shift the car too. So it's a distinct possibility, especially in some of these tighter sections. He's trying to keep the boost up and trying to make this car just get off these turns absolutely as quickly as possible.
You are now looking at the 07 car. That is Jeremy Dale. Jeremy Dale, probably the youngest competitor in this particular field. And now we're on board with Jeremy Dale as he's carrying one of our cameras with us in the Dodge. Dale leads it. Number 74, George Robinson is second. 00 Cal Choquette is third. And 95, Bob Leitzinger, who will probably win that championship, is now in the 4th place spot. Number 17, Al Bacon, 5th. Again, that's in GTU category. There's a race within a race.
That's a great picture. You can see him fighting the wheel, going through the turns there, working on the shifter, leaning back and forth. You know, you can actually see the steering wheel kicking back on him in some of the tighter turns.
At the moment, Jeremy Dale has a clear track in front of him. He's on the high-speed section, and he's not going to catch a car for about another half a lap. But when he catches some of them, they're they're hard to get around. What's traffic like for Jeremy Dale? Well, I posed that question to him before the race, and Jeremy Dale will tell you about traffic.
I think our entry is about 35 cars entered, and that's an awful lot of cars. These are also big cars, you know, they're not like little teeny race cars, they're big cars, so the traffic is an enormous factor. You know, you've got quicker guys, you've got slower guys, and to get through that cleanly and safely is really, you know, your #1 concern.
Pretty mature driver. He's the one who won the Barber Saab championship last year, and you see him working on a much bigger engine Corvette. There's your leader. You step on back. There's the Audi after 2 pieces of traffic. This is your 2nd place car, Hans Stuck, number 4. Reach on back, and there, where we're looking now. Here comes Pete Halsmer, the number 6 underneath us. Here is the next one, 75 Millen, and rounding out the top 5 is the Audi that was just entering your picture, Hurley Haywood. That's the top 5 cars. There's still no more than 1 long straightaway between them. In the car. Ah, yes. Hurley Haywood. Take us for a ride, Hurley. Interesting moves. The moves aren't done. They're far from it. Del Mar, California for the GTO GTU finale. Come back once again and join us, would you please? back, and we've got the leader right now. That is the number 9, Wally Dallenbeck, as he just comes back into your picture, and he's going to be coming up on the Ferrari. 2 more cars, and the Ferrari will fall victim to him once again.
Yeah, the Ferrari's not having a good day, but certainly Wally Dallenbeck is running hard. He said the object of this game is to win this race and let everything else happen as it may, and that's what Wally's trying to make happen now.
Dallenbeck in front, Hans Stuck in the number 4 Audi, still second. Pete Halsmer has barged his way to 3rd place in the number 6 Cougar. 75 Steve Millen, the Nissan, is 4th. Number 5 Hurley Haywood is 5th. And here's an interesting item for you. Running 7th overall on the racetrack is Jeremy Dale, one of our in-car cameras in the smaller engine category. He's doing well.
That's a super performance, but I'll tell you, Jeremy Dale, very, very personable young man, good race car driver. And it's interesting, the car he's driven here, or is driving here now, the Dodge, has been a career maker for a couple of other drivers. And Jeremy Dale certainly has kept that tradition alive.
That's number 6, Pete Halsmer, 3rd overall on the racetrack, and right on top of the Drivers' Championship, but he's got to improve himself one more slot.
Pete knows that. Pete's a smart driver. He's a wily old driver and very, very talented. You know, he's made his move up a couple of places because he knows 3rd place is not good enough.
Let's go pit side and join the editor, publisher of National Speed and Sport News, Chris Economaki.
Right here is Scott Treichler, Pete Halsmer's crew chief. What's Pete saying on the radio?
He hasn't said anything. I think he was just sitting back there. He seems to be eating Hans up pretty good now, though. I think everything's okay.
You got to be feeling pretty good right now, huh?
Yeah, if he blows up a little tighter, I feel a little better, but it's a lot of time to go.
Okay, there you have a championship at stake.
Eating up, right? Is that the word? Go ahead.
Scott was my crew chief when I was at Roush Racing. I'll tell you, Pete's got a real good crew chief. That car will run hard all day.
Okay, so Halsmer starting to close on Stuck, at least according to the Roush crew people. It's still Dallenbeck in front, Stuck in the 2nd place spot. Halsmer in 3rd, then Millen, then Haywood, and then rounding out the top 6 is John Morton. Over on that GTU category, 07 Jeremy Dale, and 74 George Robinson, 00 Cal Choquette, 17 Al Bacon, and 95, the man who is the champion, even though the last race hasn't completed in use, number 95 Bob Leitzinger. You're focused right now on the 3rd place runner, the Mercury Cougar of Pete Halsmer. 3rd place, though, with Dallenbeck out in the lead, won't be enough if the checkered flag were to fly now. We asked him about the tension on this team and the team orders that existed prior to the race.
Yeah, sure, there's always a little tension, you know, when you're competing with a guy, and especially when he's on the same team, but no, there aren't any team rules. Like Mercury doesn't operate that way, Roush doesn't operate that way. It's just a matter of going out there and trying to do the best we can and really not hurting each other in terms of taking anybody out. That's always been the one team rule that we have in Roush Racing and with Lincoln Mercury, that you don't do anything to really damage the other guy.
We are at just about the halfway point, and we're coming back from more excitement. Ooh, there's an Audi broken. Hang on just a second. One of them went away, and belches a plate.
That's car number 5, I think. I think that's Hurley Haywood.
Haywood, a breakage. That's, I think, the first serious breakage that the Audis have faced in the last 4 drives, for sure, because both cars have been in victory circle the last 4 times. Oh, what an upsetting moment this must be for the Audi people as Haywood dropping off. There you are in car with him. The camera ain't helping him go any faster at all right now.
He's talking to his crew right now, telling them what's going on or what has gone on.
All right, Hurley Haywood's day apparently over at the halfway point in this 1-hour-long race, and Haywood is looks like he's trying to restart it there, but I'm thinking it might be a useless proposal. Here comes the battle for the lead, approaching his location. And it is Wally Dallenbeck going by you right there, and Stuck not far back of Dallenbeck.
No, and Wally seemed to be pressing there a little bit. First time I've seen his car wiggling, and that's not really a good sign. We still got half the race to go.
Corner workers out checking with Haywood as they make the decision whether the car has to be moved from right there, whether it can move under its own power or what. And obviously, we'll yet know the answer to that in a little while. But that's Stuck, the number 12. Stuck just blew, I think. Look at it. Big time plumes of smoke.
Both Audis out of the race.
And I know the smoke looks like it's coming out of the right front wheel, folks, but that's where the exhaust pipe dumps out of that turbocharger, and about 4 quarts of oil went up in smoke there.
We won't have any problems with mosquitoes on the back straightaway, I can tell you that.
And now, if they run in the order that they're running, Pete Halsmer just inherited the Drivers' Championship because of Stuck going away.
Halsmer can now run in the position he's in and win the title.
On Stuck and Hurley Haywood within a lap of each other. They'll talk about that one in Germany. Now, both cars go out at roughly the halfway point of the race. And here's a replay looking back at it now. Keep an eye on it. There it goes. Pull the pin. The grenade is gone.
Boy, what a smoke cloud. I pity any driver coming through right after him.
Now, there probably wasn't any oil ended up down on the racetrack. It probably all went up in smoke, literally, right?
That's right. Yeah, I suspect the track very clean, very dry.
And there's Stuck himself out of the car, and here's the Audi team as they're discussing it. Now, honestly, a couple of them want to start putting the tools back in the toolbox.
Looks like a board meeting, doesn't it?
Yes. There's Stuck, obviously not too pleased with what has happened, and he's a good spokesman for Audi.
The things you see hanging from basically back his head and his shoulders, that's the cool suit that most of the drivers wear. The suit keeps them cool while they're running the race. Really important to keep their brain from frying.
Picking back up, number 9, Wally Dallenbeck with the lead. Number 6, Pete Halsmer in second. Number 75, Millen third. Morton fourth. It's Cougars and Nissans, and we're coming back to Del Mar for more of this action. It's the Chevron GTO GTU Challenge from Del Mar, California. That's your leader right now, number 9, Wally Dallenbeck, and he has just passed the halfway point in the race. So it's time for the Volkswagen Mid-Race Report, brought to you by the German-engineered Volkswagens and your Volkswagen dealers. Number 9, Dallenbeck, the leader. He's led 24 out of the 25 laps completed. The average speed just over 78 miles an hour. There have been 2 lead changes between 2 drivers and no yellow flags at this point. The number 9 Mercury Cougar has not skipped a beat all day, but it hasn't been that way for the Audis. If you're just joining us, they've had a rough day. And let's join Chris Economaki in the pit lane with more.
Team manager for the Audi. Tom, it's a tough way to end the season. 2 cars out on successive laps. What is the problem?
The only thing we know is that both engines quit within a lap of each other, and we can't tell anything. We haven't talked to the drivers. They're both out of the cars now, and they've shut off. So I won't know until the drivers get in, and perhaps until we get the cars back in the garage after the race.
You've not lost an engine all year, have you?
No, we haven't had an engine failure all year, and I'm not sure that it is an engine failure right now.
Tough race, Tom. The Audi team has been so dominant. Winner of 7 races on the circuit, out in this finale. Back to you, Bruce.
All right, Chris, thank you. And you can assure him that one of them certainly looked like an engine failure from up here, anyway. It looked like a hole in a piston to me.
It gave all those visual signs of a problem, a major problem.
Yes. Number 9, Dallenbeck. Now he's sitting there with his fingers crossed. He'd like to put this puppy into the victory circle here at the Camel Grand Prix of Southern California, the Chevron GTO GTU Series finale.
Well, as Wally said at the start, he can do nothing except try to win the race.
There is the second-place car on the racetrack. We're reaffirmed of that at this location.
And that's Halsmer behind him.
And there's Millen in the red, white, and blue car. Halsmer in the Cougar, the Stroh's car, chasing him under the Goodyear Bridge. And they're coming up on traffic, the Corvette of the Koala Springs car. Steve Millen. I have watched this gentleman race an awful lot of forms of equipment, and he is one devilish man when it comes to dirt, but he's apparently pretty good on asphalt, too.
Well, he's got the bit in his teeth. I've raced with him all around the world, and I'll tell you what, he's a fine gentleman, but he's a hell of a competitor.
Oh, and I'm betting he knows he might have taken that championship away from Halsmer right there. He's no fool.
Well, you know, their whole year, though, has been a developmental year. They really don't care about this championship. They just want to win this race. They want Nissan and the Nissan 300ZX to see victory this year because they've got a full plate plan for next year.
With over still 20 minutes of racing left, the Halsmer car, will he bonsai back by Millen to win that championship if he can get close?
Well, you can see, he's not going to give it up. You can see he's moved right back up on his rear bumper. Got a lot of traffic coming up. These are dangerous times for Halsmer, though, with all these slow cars, Millen, everybody mulling around. He's got to be ultra careful.
Millen will find his way through traffic, and he may leave a little bit of that red, white, and blue paint on some of his competitors as he does it, too.
Ultra careful, but ultra fast. He has to be. He's got to get back by.
The very first session of practice when this weekend began, Millen was one of the first cars out on the racetrack. Somebody spun in front of him. He nailed the brakes on that Nissan, brought it to a beautiful stop, didn't scratch the paint, and somebody plowed him from behind. Oh, I got one right underneath my announcing booth went in.
That was Leitzinger.
That's Leitzinger, the number 95. The gentleman is into the tire barriers, and from here, we can see that he has not gotten out of the car. Corner workers are over to check with him, and it's fired back up. He's backing back out of there, but the front end looks like it might be hurt.
Oh, it is. You saw the whole front end lift up. It got hooked on the tires.
It's on fire.
And backed up.
It's on fire right now. Bob, you better get out of there now.
We got a fire extinguisher right on the
3 seconds.
Show right there. Absolutely.
3 seconds, and the fire bottle was on it.
Super work by these corner workers.
here's your battle for second place. Millen in the second place spot, and right on him again is Halsmer.
This is good time for Pete because they've got clear track here for a while. He really would like to make that pass now before they get back into traffic.
Millen.
I think you'll see something on this straightaway right here.
Okay, here, let's stick with it then. Here's the fastest portion of the racetrack as they come up through the gearbox, and Millen got to drive in a wide car, didn't he?
That's a new line. Steve Millen hadn't used that line before during this race. He kind of moved over to the center of the racetrack just in case Pete did what I thought he might try.
Turn 2 they're in now, coming to 3 right there, and Millen is going to make it tough on Halsmer. Halsmer with the front end shooting some sparks up right now. In fact, both of these cars sit quite low to the ground. And we're going to be coming back and see how this whole race unfolds. Dallenbeck, Millen, Halsmer, Morton, and Jeremy Dale at this moment. We're back in Del Mar, California, and we are riding with Jeremy Dale, the 07 car who leads the GTU category. His teammate, 00 Cal Choquette, is second, but it looks like clear sailing in front of Dale right now, Tom Gloyd.
He's got a really clear track. His teammate, Cal Choquette, team owner, actually, is doing his last race this weekend, and they're currently running 1-2 in GTU.
And we're just seconds away from being 3/4 of the way through this 1-hour race. There is your leader, Dale, and right behind him is the number 9, Wally Dallenbeck. In fact, that is now both leaders, both divisional leaders, close together. You'll see the horsepower differential right about now as the Cougar comes out and makes a run at Jeremy Dale. And Jeremy Dale gives us another shot of a Cougar going away, then onto the brakes at 1. And through turns 1 and 2 as Dale takes us for that ride.
The GTU and GTO cars are not as, the gap between their speeds is not as great on this racetrack as you would normally see it. The GTU cars go through those turns pretty quick. They just don't have quite the same speed on the straightaway.
And we've got a spin right down here. Number 27, Lance Stewart at turn 1. Lance Stewart with his Mazda RX-7 already missing a hood. Lance is not having the best day. And here's one, miles per hour so far. It is 78.939 is the average that they have been running, and that's a tough assignment to keep that kind of speed up.
We can see right behind him too, and coming into the view on that picture was our battle for second place. But now we're back on the leader, Wally Dallenbeck, and he has opened up a huge lead over this battle for second place. So there's no doubt now, if he stays running clean, he's going to win the race.
There's
this
second
battle,
and third.
this is the important part. This is Halsmer and Steve Millen, and Halsmer has got to get by to win the title.
In case you're just joining us here on ESPN, the Mercury Cougar that you're seeing right now pursuing the Nissan, that is the battle for second place in real time. I mean, serious time. And if the Cougar should get around the Nissan, the driver of that Cougar will win the individual drivers championship. It is a pretty nice little reward here at the end of the season. Get in and give him a go. $78,000 total up. It's a 1.6-mile, 10-turn road course. If you've been with us from the top of the show, you know we've been hard on fiberglass, but so far not hard on drivers themselves.
Oh, look. You can see still Steve Millen moving around that car. Halsmer going to try to make a move down the inside. He's got him. He's got position. There he goes.
Pretty out-braking maneuver. I don't think
that could be a championship maneuver.
That could have been a multi-dollar pass right there. A little bit of sparks yet. That thing not lightening up, not ride height any taller as the fuel load begins to go away. And he's suddenly now, is it just me, or is he starting to make a lot of distance away from Millen, or is that just an illusion?
It was just an illusion, actually, at this point. I can't see Steve Millen giving up. He's there. He wants that position.
All right, Cougars a pair in front. Number 9, Wally Dallenbeck. Number 6, Pete Halsmer now has taken back over. Then it is Nissan's a pair with number 75, Steve Millen, and 76, the quiet man. We haven't heard a lot from him today, John Morton. And rounding out the top 5, first Chevy, number 13, Mike Sheehan. And again, for those of you following the GTU category, 07 Jeremy Dale, who's actually 5th overall, leading GTU. 00 Cal Choquette, 2nd. Sport 74 George Robbins,
we know that.
3rd. And boy, that was a good one as it came. We're in traffic now with our second place race right here, behind all of those relatively slower cars. Under braking, Halsmer deep on the brakes as he comes into turn 1.
Boy, we saw him make a move underneath the Ferrari in the same place in practice earlier in the weekend, and I thought that was going to be the world's most expensive accident.
But we have got a fresh report out of the pit lane, I understand. Let's go down there where Ralph Shaheen will join us now.
Bruce, we're standing down here with Scott Treichler. Scott is a crew chief for Pete Halsmer. Did he relax a little too much there and allow Millen to get by him?
No, I think he fell off somewhere. He dropped about 8 seconds in one lap. I can't believe he slowed down that much. So when he came by, I told him he had to get Millen back, and he said, oh, that's no problem. So I think the car's okay. He just must have either got caught behind a back marker real bad or slipped off and bounced off the wall or something.
Well, now that he's back out front, will he run real hard and try and pull away, or will he start to ease off soon?
Well, we'll put a little daylight between us and the Nissan, hopefully, and I don't think there's enough time. Wally managed to get away when we got held up behind Millen there, but if we can close, we'll try, but we're not going to kill the car trying to win the race when we already got the championship locked up.
Well, that's the story from down here. Let's go back to you, Bruce.
Okay, well, Tom's got something he wanted to add right in there.
Well, that's a championship attitude, you know. Everybody's talking about the car in the pits. Scott talking about keeping that car alive, and hey, if we win the race, great. If we don't, we win the championship if we finish second. And the whole season's based on a championship, not on a race. And I guarantee you, Wally Dallenbach could trade this race for the championship, no matter what he says.
I like the term, we're not going to kill the car. This guy's been around drag racing for a while. Roush, right? You're watching number 9, Wally Dallenbach. Oops, that's 00, Cal Choquette, second place, GTU. Tangling with him is the number 97, Walt Benson, who's 10th in GTO. Coming by is number 75, Millen, the third place car, and that racetrack is closing up like a cork.
That track's almost blocked. They're backing up. They are stuck right there.
This has got to be, well, they might get it sorted out.
They can't get through. Look at this.
Well, the guy in the number 97 keeps backing up. Walt Benson, and Millen hasn't got room to get by.
Got a fully blocked course now. They're just now getting through.
Yeah, but they're coming through like Rose Parade floats instead of full-size race cars at speed. Benson taking a third cut now to try and clear himself from the good line through the corner.
Unbelievable.
Changes the whole complexion of it right there. Let's take a look at what happened. We've got it in replay, so here it comes.
Oh, Cal Choquette tries to go under him. That's really not a place to pass, I have to say. Really, I'd have to say that accident was created by Cal Choquette. He wanted to get by. I mean, he was running in second place. He really wanted to get by, but that wasn't the area to try to do it in.
Benson probably wanted to let him go by on the next short shoot, right?
Yeah, well, we had really a stack up. I think that probably wiped out a lot of the lead.
Watch the fiberglass. Watch the nose piece on Choquette as it's starting to grow on this straightaway and blocking the driver's view, isn't it?
I guarantee he's straining against his shoulder harness, trying to get up to look higher and higher over the top of that hood.
Choquette trying to be about 6'6" now behind the wheel as he motors around. And second place still on the racetrack is Choquette because he had quite a bit of time built over the number 17, Al Bacon, who sits third in U. Oh, the excitement will continue in Del Mar, California. Why don't you come on back and join us here? We'll update you on all of it right after this. Picking up number 9, Wally Dallenbach in the lead here in the Chevron GTO GTU season finale at Del Mar, California. And Dallenbach, after he went by the Audis, has led this thing for over 3/4 of the way.
Strong performance, really strong. He's done everything he can do. He's got to be proud.
His teammate is in the second place spot. That's number 6, Pete Halsmer. Number 75, Steve Millen still sits third. Number 76, Morton, fourth. And number 13, Mike Sheehan, fifth in the GTO category. Number 07, Jeremy Dale, one of our in-car cameras, is fifth overall and leading the GTU category. 00, Cal Choquette. Just before commercial, you saw Choquette with body damage. Choquette has continued on the racetrack and still sits second. As we look at Halsmer, who is winning the Drivers' Championship at the moment.
Well, and Halsmer has no more pressure either. Steve Millen was involved in that incident with Cal Choquette and has fallen way back from Halsmer. So Halsmer is in control of his own situation now. He's got kind of a free run. He's got to be careful in this traffic, though.
And Halsmer has pulled out, oh, there's Pete Halsmer's girlfriend, who's probably quite concerned about this, but he's pulled 14 seconds out now from Steve Millen in that battle for the second place spot. And this is going to be a big payday for her boyfriend right now.
Everybody smiles, everybody's happy, but we've got a couple of laps to go.
Halsmer, number 6, in some traffic right there, but he is a calm, cool, collected driver, and he's using his head at the moment.
You notice how much room he gave that car as he went around him. Not going to play this too close.
There are there's around 2 minutes left in this race. Around 2 minutes plus some laps. So let's watch and see. It could be 2 laps. IMSA runs on a time frame. This is a 1 hour long race, but if it was 59 minutes and 59 seconds when the leader came up, they would then give him a checkered flag. No, they'd send him a whole other lap around. Watch it. 6, Halsmer. Back a long ways now from his teammate. But those two guys are tying up that manufacturer's title for Cougar. They have been good to Cougar all season long. Number 9, Dallenbeck through turn 1 and into the turn number 2. And young Wally Dallenbeck out of Basalt, Colorado is making a name for himself on ESPN.
Wally'd like to drive Indy cars, and I think someday it's destiny for him. He's, you know, he's been working on that hard for the last few years, but he's won 2 championships in sedans, and obviously a very successful sedan driver.
Then at number 9, Dallenbeck, and here is your U leader. The yellow car there is 07 Jeremy Dale, and you're on board with Jeremy Dale on what may well be his last lap around this racetrack at Del Mar. And I don't know, maybe his last drive in the Dodge, or is somebody going to grab him and move him into something?
Somebody will definitely grab this young man. Talent is his middle name right now.
And he speaks well, too. Dale coming on the brakes at turn 1. You just saw a little breakup in your TV. He went underneath the bridge, and we lose the signal there for a second. Back on the leader, and we're guessing that this time the checkered flag will be there for Wally Dallenbeck Jr. Dallenbeck through the last couple of corners here. This is that series that has to be taken so well.
Out onto the front straightaway.
Checkered flag.